Welcome to the Dr. Shannon Live show today. So, I was reminded in talking with a couple this week that, um, again, you've probably heard me say I can't emphasize it enough that it's not that couples fight, it's how they fight that becomes problematic. And I had this couple, and it's unique in this circumstance where they say, we're just not really feeling connected. It's not that we fight. We everything else in our life is really actually great. We don't have conflict. We don't have those kinds of issues that we know that other couples have, but we just aren't feeling that close connection. It seems like the luster has drowned out. So that always brings up my little antenna just a little bit because actually, healthy protest systems in relationships are necessary. They're neurobiologically programmed and wired. There's no way that in close, intimate relationships that with two different genders, two different personality types, two different experiential life occurrences, that two people land in a very closely physical space, emotional space, mental space, that there isn't differences that come up. And so when they say, we don't fight, that is fighting, right? It's just their cycle is a very avoidant cycle. And so in those times, something is happening in both circumstances that they are withholding bits and pieces of who they are and not taking risks to expose for whatever reason. And so when they protest or lack thereof, that is a protest. When they are shutting down or uh, becoming more distracted or turning outside of the relationship or maybe suppressing um, for whatever reason, whether that's a habitual pattern that they've learned throughout maybe family of origin or in that relationship itself, or fear of not knowing what the partner's response is, or a core belief set that healthy relationships don't have areas of bumps, and it whatever those reasons are, it is not affording the opportunity for that person to reveal bits and pieces of themselves, because intimacy is built from being able to reveal who you are so that your partner has the opportunity to know that part of you and to respond with, hopefully, this matters to me, right? And in that process, as we navigate disclosing bits and pieces of us, that we are learning one another, we are moving towards one another, we are hopefully moving and shifting things that can be more productive to the close connection. And so, if you think of it in that kind of frame, that lens, that when we are saying, ouch, I don't really like that, then we are telling our partner a part of us that they might not know. It's easy to tell your partner things about yourself that, there's no risk involved, that they um, are doing something right. And so you say, yes, I love that, right? Or that's my favorite. Or that is something that I really would like to, experience. But it's also equally important to share the dislikes, the thoughts and opinions that might be a little bit more riskier because you fear maybe acceptance or fear not causing a conflict, right? But still equally as important to exposing and being known to your partner. In fact, we all have heard of the icon Brene Brown in her research. Vulnerability met with empathy leads to either healing or connection. And so when we're not making ourselves exposed, we're not making ourselves vulnerable, even in those areas that feel somewhat risky, then we aren't getting the opportunity for it to be met with empathy, acceptance, love, or even the outcome of closer connection and understanding, or at the very least, the opportunity to work through and navigate differently as a couple, having known the information. So protests in relationships are absolutely imperative, and the absence of them isn't a badge of honor. In fact, I am really going to, for this particular couple, really kind of push the ticket slowly of bits and pieces of things that they have withheld, and maybe information gathering about kind of why they're withholding it, and teaching them to navigate in a healthy way, um, getting that experience out in the open, and maybe, helping them to understand and reduce the belief core set that that's a good thing, and maybe helping them manage their anxiety as they're getting comfortable with that exposure system, right? In fact, when I do have my individual clients come in and they're maybe fresh in a new relationship, or my premarital couples that maybe have had a pretty smooth sailing relationship up to that point. um, yes, it's important to highlight the strengths of the relationship, and a lot of people will come in with their checklists, right? Oh, that this person meets all the boxes, you know. There's no deal breakers, there's must haves are all met, right? But my question is always, well, have you had your first fight? I don't want to know if they are as much employed, or if they come from an intact family. That's all important. If they treat you well, that's wonderful. That's a given, that's a basic. But have we observed yet how they interact in the midst of conflict? When more of their natural fight, flight, or freeze is activated, are they able to navigate in such a way where they are revealing and protesting things that they don't like, and can they tolerate doing that in a way that opens up opportunities of navigation, of problem solving, and conflict management in a healthy way? Can we get to the end result of resolve, right? um, and so when I say, well, okay, that's all good, but come back when you've actually had your first fight. And they look like I've grown a second head, like, you want us to fight? Yes, I actually do, because it is going to happen. I mean, there is no way in life that you're not going to hit some kind of stressor or bump in the road, whether it's intrinsic within the nature of the relationship of differences and perceptions and opinions, or if it's life stressors that are externally circumstantial, that are pressing in and against, that you have absolutely no control over. And how well do we tolerate those moments of feeling overwhelmed, or feeling like I have this bump in the road that I have to navigate in life, but I want to make sure I'm not doing it solo, that I feel connected to my partner and they're in it with me. So those are really important aspects of a very healthy relationship. And a lot of couples will come in not being able to navigate that, but they're actually trying. It is equally as problematic with the couples that come in that are not even attempting it and need to learn the process of doing that in a healthy way. So, again, let me just offer to you, of course, couples fight. It's good to be with you this afternoon. I look forward to seeing you next week with the next healthy couple tip, and we will see you then.